Well, ladies and gentlemen.
Is it time?
Oh, yep, coming.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight. Some, well, actually, all familiar faces, which is good to see. First, I would like to get approval of the minutes from let's see, it would be the January 23rd, 2023 City Council meeting.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I guess everybody is in favor.
Yeah.
Aye.
Motion carried. Anybody have any additions to the agenda this evening?
None from me.
Barb, no? You sure, Barb?
Then I'll make the motion to approve the agenda as is.
Could I get a
I'll
second?
second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. To addition, there's going to be no additions to the agenda. Then, should we approve the agenda then for this evening?
That was just done.
That I just did,
You
yep.
did? Okay. So, I've got just a little deviation, tonight. Under the department reports, we have, Dan Rushlow here, the Pierz, fire chief. And normally he would be down at the bottom, but he has something, pressing, this evening. And so I'd like to have, let, Dan go first.
Thank you, sir. All right. So I just like to come every year and kind of fill you guys in. You two were at our township meeting the other night, but Sharon, you were not. There we go. Just a little year review. You guys should have got one. Right?
Yep, we got one.
Okay. So I'll just kind of go over everything again like I did that night, and then I'll do the fire relief. Steve was busy tonight, so. I guess officers this year are the same as, you know, one change, I guess. I'm still the chief, Phil Scribner's the assistant, John Dushner's the captain, Scott Sayer is a new training officer. He took over for Jamie Litke. Dustin Betzinger is the secretary, and Jason Lieb is the assistant secretary. We just hired the 4 new firemen. I think you guys know who they are. Very good additions. They're going through their training right now. They just got done with hazmat. They'll start into firefighter 1, firefighter 2, and hopefully test out. Something on that, we actually did we had one house for training to burn for the whole class, but that got changed, and we just found another in the city of Buckman. So tonight, Ag bought that house by the road. They're gonna tear everything down, so they're gonna let us burn that as training. And that'll be on April 29th, I believe. So that's a big addition for us. The new truck is in. Tanker pumper is very good asset for our department. And that's gonna work out just fine. We've ordered our bunker gear. We started to receive some of it. We got the helmets and the masks. So it's about 6 months out yet. So hopefully June, July, we can get all that switched out. It's well overdue, so that'll be good. And of course, the price went up again. It's right around $130,000 for that. But it's a city, Pioneer Mutual, and then the fire department gambling, or the PRAFTA equipment fund is what we call it. So that'll be given a third. So should help everybody. Got the new radios ordered. Did you get that sent in?
I did.
Okay. I haven't heard anything. So that was a $48,000 bill that we weren't ready for, but the county paid half of it. And then that was split in half from the city and in the Pioneer. But we decided we had pretty good pull tabs, so we donated the money for that. So there shouldn't be anything for the city or Pioneer to pay. The grass rig insert is in, and everything's hooked up, so if it keeps staying like this and raining, those will be starting soon enough, so very good addition, and that was on a grant too from last year, or 2 years ago, actually. Just the future, looking down the road, we're looking at replacing the Yukon, the old city, it was a city squad car, but with a 1-ton pickup, and Pioneer agreed to do it. We can start looking. And then we just came upon a grant up to $50,000, so we're gonna apply for that. So hopefully we can get it. It seems to be fairly, I shouldn't say easy, but it's a very good resource, I think, for us, so hopefully we can get that. And then the truck off the state bid is $51,700.
What percentage do you think it would be, Dan? What percentage you getting that grant?
I'd say close to 75 to 80. I mean, you never know,
Right.
but, I mean, Brainerd got it, Cross Lake Department, so hopefully, I guess. Maybe I'm putting the cart in front of the horse, but if nothing else, the trucks are a year out anyhow, so it would be next year's project if we don't get it. And then down the road, the number 2 pumper, that's gonna have to be replaced. That's 20 years old this year. 5, 7, 8 year, down the road. So something to start thinking about a little bit. And by then, God only knows how much they're gonna cost. So, just a little bit on the relief, the pull tabs that Todd Primersberger runs, does a very good job. Jason Lowscheider and Matt Lundblad is the president, he assists. Last year, the Fire Relief Association donated $18,100 into our equipment fund that we use just to keep things up, and if we need tools or different things at the fire department for that. And then they also donated $13,300 to the city of Pierz for to assist in the needs from your side, or the half that you guys would have to pay. So it's a very good thing. And they also donate, out to other causes, school and whoever comes. We're in the area anyhow. We're pretty good at giving money out. So the heat was shut off at the food shelf building. That's the one they donated to us, so we got that. We don't really need heat in it. It was just an unneeded bill every month, so that's done. Overall, the department's doing great. We have a great bunch of guys. Everybody gets along. It's fairly easy for me. Everybody just does their job and it gets done, and if I'm not around, somebody steps up, so it's doing very good. Any questions on that?
I just would like to say, just a word of advice, don't ever leave your backpack by accident at the firehouse. You never know what you get a backpack's gonna be in it.
Yeah, I'm still investigating that, so I'll see what I can figure out. You were gonna wear that tonight, your hat.
I was going,
You forgot it.
I know, for good reason.
Yeah, no,
Do you have
exactly.
any questions, Donnie, or
Not yet.
No,
Jackie?
nothing. Okay, so, I'm not on this committee, but I'm just kind of filling in on the, relief side, our retirement. That was Tuesday night. They came from Par McKnight. They do all our investing and do that, that end of it. So just for last year, we started with $1,119,000. We had $86,000 in deposits. So we had 1.205 million in there, and everybody kind of knows how it went last year. So the fund itself lost $150,000. So that was like around a 13% loss, but I don't quite understand all that the way they had it. Bob, maybe you know more how to.
We could have lost more according to the markets. We have bonds and we have stocks, but we did better than the average.
Average, so average was like
18%.
18%, so
Yeah.
And we had that figured in, so we had a 13. So last year it was set at 3,000 per year of service for retirement. At that, last year at that point, we were 113% funded. So we were, well, so we could sustain that. So, nothing had to change. With what our proposing is a 5% gain this year. And the deposits, again, will be right around 86, the 2% from the state, that can change, with the values and stuff, that might be a little more, but with that and the 5% gain, we'll be at 103% funded again. So if we leave it, we're just leaving it at 3,000 again, see what happens, and there's no retirements or anything as of today's date that I know of, so. I guess that's about it on that. Oh, and the townships agreed to do $550 a person. Like last year they went a little more, but that was a 1-year deal. So they went back to the $550 per fireman for the donation into that. Other than that, that's about all I got.
So they also, when we were there, they also talked about the hourly wage moving from
Oh, yeah.
$12.50 to $20 an hour. This point for the city, it would be about a $600 a year increase. So what happens is any fire that, if I'm wrong, let me know, but any fire that's not within the city, Pioneer or PRAPA pays it all. Anything that's in the city, we split half with us and half with PRAPA. So last year, the figure that I received was the city spent about $546 at $12.50 an hour. And if you take those hours and now go to 20, it's just under 600 more that it would cost the city to do that. And PRAPA has approved that to be done. And they're asking the city to follow suit and approve that same thing.
And that was not the fire department's request,
No,
just so you know.
That was
We never brought that up,
Huh?
so.
What was it called again?
PRAPA,
Pierz Rural Area Fire Protection
Protection
Agency.
Agency.
It's all the cities and townships, including Pierz, that
that belong to it.
We actually have the largest, Pierz covers the largest square miles
Oh,
of
yeah,
any
yeah.
fire department in the state of Minnesota. Is that right, Kim?
Yeah, correct.
Well, I'd make that motion then to approve that $20 an hour wage increase.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Motion carried.
All right, well, you guys should be happy for that, I guess. But, I mean, we're not in it for the money, so.
And we
It's-
all, obviously can tell we all really appreciate
Yep.
what the firemen do and the fire hall, and we know how important it is to our community.
Yeah.
And the other nice thing is that, there's additional expenses that come up, like what you were discussing, and it's really good to see like a 5-year plan.
Yep.
So we
Yep.
don't get hit with stuff.
Yeah, and we just started that. We upped it, the yearly contribution from the city, or the line item, I guess you call it, in the budget, so.
Yeah, it's
You know.
really refreshing to see that,
Yeah.
that type of program.
there would be Mr. Mayor, two items for motions. So it'd be the paying the retirement, so $550 per fireman, and then also keeping the contribution at 3,000.
Okay.
Would we have to do the contribution because we're not changing it? I
I
don't
guess
care
if
if we
it's not
do.
changing, I guess, yeah, you probably
I
won't
was
have to
thinking
if
if
it's
we
not
don't change it,
changing.
we shouldn't
So
have to make the motion.
just the retirement then, prove that.
Yeah, just to pay out
I'd make the motion then to agree to do the $550 per fireman.
for 26 firemen. I'll second that.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed?
So with that, typically the city pays the $550 for each fireman up to 26, because the city charter is for 26. I think you're above that now.
Yep, we are, yep. So we're
So-
at 30 right now with
Yeah,
the 4 new
so-
ones.
We pay for 26, the 4 just there, but
Yeah.
as people retire out, you slowly come down to 26, and then you try to build her back over. So that's where that's always been.
Yep.
Can we pay for the full 30 or no?
Certainly can, it's up to the city.
Typically, we hadn't, just because the city's charter says it's 26, and if you go down to 25, you hire one. But nowadays, with all the schooling, with everything it has to go through, it's just not feasible to hire one person for that and figure out how to send them to a school.
Right, that's
So
the
we
biggest thing.
Sort of
And it's
got
kind
away
of
from
nice,
that.
they kind of, you know, get to be buddies and, you know, when they come
Learn it
back.
together.
Yeah, and when they come back to serve, you know, they'll kind of know how each one does it. And so it's just a good deal to have at least 2, 4 is the best. So that's kind of what we've been doing as long as I've been on.
Would anybody be opposed to paying for the 30?
We'd have to change the charter then, right? Or how would that
We'd have to
work?
look into it, I guess.
Or you just increase the amount per fireman, you know, if you want to pay $1,200 more, then you'd pay $50
Then the next year,
more.
you might not have 30, and then you're always changing
Yeah,
it back and
yeah,
forth. That's
yeah,
where the
jump
leaving
around.
at the 550 at 26
Are
would be
you
easier.
okay keeping it, are you okay with it, Dan, at 26?
Yeah, that's
Are you all right with that, Jackie?
it's fine with me.
No, I'm fine. I just want to make sure that they're covered at the
Yeah.
end of the day.
Well, for the first so many years, a fireman doesn't get anything. They're
Yeah.
not even on the books as being liable because they don't have enough years served.
Yeah.
Do you remember what that number is? Like 5,
12.
6 years? Well, 12 is when you can start,
Well, you're vested then.
you're vested, yeah. Anything below that, if you quit, you lose.
Yep.
Goes back in the coffer.
Yeah, I think that's, anything else, you guys? I think we're okay. with
No, I think that's all I got.
that. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Dan.
The only thing would be, I should have, so on April, the burn in Buckman, we might need some traffic control, so we asked Eric, like maybe if Preston could help assist us on that, you know, from the city here. But that'd be about the only thing that we would request. And that's, you know, 2 months down the road, so.
Yep.
And we gotta turn it into the state, our plan, traffic plan, so we don't even know what they really are gonna, we might have to detour it and everything else, so. Cause it's very close to the road in Buckman, but. All right, well, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thanks, Dan.
So, next up, we have, planning and zoning and, building permit applications.
Okay, we don't really have a building permit per se, but we did do a public hearing for Jim and Laura Callhammer for that building at 120 Main Street North. They want to add a 40 by 45 foot addition on the east end of the building. The building is closer to the line, likely closer to the line than ordinances allow. And because it's a commercial zone, it's only 3 feet. But to allow them to build on with the same distance from the line as the existing structure, we asked them to get a variance. And so we went through that variance hearing today and a public hearing so that everyone is aware of what is happening there. There were no objections to giving them a variance to allow them to build on the east end of the building without jogging away from the line. And so we're recommending that the city approve that variance.
I was fortunate enough to be able to sit in on it this evening too, and Jim did a good job, got all the bases covered as far as I'm concerned, and went through a couple of minor objections internally, which looked like everything was okay after that discussion. And Don was in on it too. Any thoughts on it, Don?
Nope.
Jackie? You okay?
No.
Sure. Okay, so, motion?
I'd make a motion.
Sorry, there would actually be that resolution that I emailed out,
Mhm.
and then I have a draft on your table.
Yeah.
You'd be approving the resolution.
Yep.
Right. I'd make a motion to approve resolution number 2023-0213-1, a resolution adopting findings of fact and reasons for approval of variance application for Jim Callheimer, parcel 42-025-8000, the city of Pierz, Morrison County, state of Minnesota.
Motion from Jackie to accept the resolution.
And I will second that.
Don's gonna second the resolution. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carried. That's resolution.
That's all we have.
Great, thank you. Okay, so the next order of business would be the electric rates. I did talk to Bob a little bit about it today, and I think he would like to expound on it.
Sure. So I reached out to our consultant that did our rate study last year, and I just had him run the numbers with the increase we're gonna see with our wholesale rates in 2023. And so page 24 of the packet, he just kind of gave the council three options. Last year, the electric fund net profit was right around 180,000. And I just kind of had him run some margins of 100, 150, or $200,000 margins, whatever the council would like to see out of that electric fund. Obviously, these are budget numbers and we don't know outages, and we're not expecting a ton of maintenance on our system this year, but option 2 to net margin $150,000 would keep the rates the same, basically. So
Now, have we gone into all the businesses are all online in terms of doing, lost my train, but the thought of demand?
yeah, the demand billing kicked. We did it in steps. So we did one step in July of 22.
Yep.
The final step was January of 23. So that's been, I have not heard any feedback, and so they've received
So
one of those
everybody is on now.
full-fledged bills for the demand billing. Yeah, and I didn't see any feedback, so.
Okay.
I guess I would recommend we stick with option 2 and just keep our rates the same for 23.
That's what I would think.
So we wouldn't have to do anything. We're just leaving it just as is.
Correct.
Yep. Okay.
Motion?
I don't know if we'd have to motion, do we?
I guess if we're not changing anything,
Not
we
doing
did,
anything
yeah, we
different,
did approve that
Just
fee
FYI,
schedule.
apparently.
Man, I love it how this works. Okay, so the next order of business would be the renewal of the consumption and display permit for the Pierz Golf Course and Campground. Basically, what this is a license for the people to carry a bottle along with them while they're golfing if they choose to. They still would have to buy their pop or mixers from the clubhouse, but it would allow them to, since we don't really have a hard liquor license out there, it's really more of an accommodation for the people out there. And so that's what I don't know if you have any thoughts on it, Donnie? You've
No,
probably used
we've
a
done
couple
it,
of
we've
times.
done it that way for a long time.
Yeah, just basically
Yep.
renewal the permit, I guess.
Yep, yep. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
So the all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? A motion carried for the renewal of consumption and display permit for the Pierz Golf Course. The next topic is kind of near and dear to my heart.
As you can see, mine's charging at home.
I'm like a testimonial kind of person. I love testimonials, and especially when I give one myself, it makes it that much better. But I actually I'm not real big on these little laptops that we have or these notepads. I've struggled with them since I've been on city council, and I've worked with a lot of laptops in my life, and mine isn't. Well, I can't download Excel formats on it. It's out of date, and actually today it won't let me download PDFs either. So I can't even look at my emails. And I know. So we found from working, with, the person that works, I'm trying to think of Brad
Doroff.
Doroff,
Yep.
that this one, it won't even accept it won't even accept the new program, so you can't even download in for the Excel. So, Bob was, nice enough to get three, and actually I was gonna say two, that's why I got this stack of papers here, you guys, so if I'm not quite as quick on the computer, that's why. And I don't know what page that's on.
31.
What is it, 31?
31.
Okay, thank you, Jackie. So he has put together three different packages, and first off, too, I don't know, Jackie, if you like working on your phone more than on a laptop, or Kyle, because I noticed Kyle was working on his phone. Like I think
No,
you-
him and I are both of the same thing. By the time we realized that it was dead, we're on the way here with our 2 jobs and mountains of kids. I think a laptop would be better. I tried to get that first off when we were on council.
Thank you.
When we initially when we were switching over from the iPads to this, I brought up laptops, and I would have preferred them from the beginning personally, but
Yeah, and you'd use it, I'm assuming, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think Kyle, I know I would. Yeah, so, and Bob has been sending me the emails to my personal email, and I was talking to Don today, I'd like to separate my,
Right.
this position from my personal laptop,
Yep.
so. Then the next question would be, if you guys are, and I think you're in favor of that too, would be the three different packages, actually, I guess there's 4. So,
I kind of feel like that better one, like it's so they're the good, the better, the best, going with that middle of the road, 11-0, middle of the road.
yep. That's where I was thinking.
That's
too.
what I was thinking.
Yeah.
That way it's, it's only a few dollars more than the ones below it, but you're getting a better laptop overall.
Yep.
So that's what my motion would be, is to approve the better ones.
Okay, so Jackie's making a
The
motion
11-0 14-inch.
to approve to purchase the 11 14-inch flex convertible laptop.
And how many is that for? There's no quantity?
6, purchase of 6. it
That's
says.
6. Okay,
Second,
I'll make second.
okay, Donnie's gonna make the second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Can we get anything for these at all? Can we recycle them?
I can ask,
Could
typically
even
not,
see if
but
we could donate them to
Oh,
the
there
school
you go.
maybe, or
Yeah.
something if we get them wiped off.
Yeah, I think the school's all Apple.
I can ask
Or it
Radio
used to be
Shack.
All the
anyway.
Chromebooks.
Yeah, so I don't know if they would want them.
Could see.
Because they'd probably say, you know how many problems you got with them?
Or
Yeah.
maybe even
What are you getting
Horizon
rid of 'em
Health,
for?
because Horizon Health does some friendly caregiving and stuff. So sometimes, when COVID happened, they were doing some stuff with that. Maybe
Right.
we could look at some just
You-
donation
And you
options.
can probably still use them maybe to stream off of them, or you can't save anything because there's no document saving, but, you would hope that you could find somebody that we could donate them to. And if we can't, I have a feeling we're not gonna get nothing for them,
Probably not.
not too much. Okay, good. So the next thing is, an exempt permit for the Pierz Youth Fast Pitch. It's a gambling permit from the state. That's how they raise charity for the youth fast pitch.
I'll make motion to approve that.
Jackie makes the motion to approve the exempt permit for the Pierz Youth Fast Pitch.
I'll second it.
Donnie's seconding it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Then, next order of business is the Pierz Community Education Donation Request. Sarah Funk is the person that kind of works with that, and in the past, we've donated
$30.25.
$3,025. And that has been the same amount for the last 5 years. I feel like we should do it, and since we have some consistency, it's not necessarily something new. I think we could leave it the number, personally, I think we could leave the number where it's at. I don't think we need to raise it at all.
I'd make a motion to approve the donation for the $30.25 for
Jackie
community ed.
makes the motion.
I'll second it.
Donnie seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nobody, and so a motion carried to donate $3,025 to Pierce Community Education donation. Then we have the next one is the Faith in Action donation request. Last year, we donated $1,000. What this is for giving rides for people around town that need them, that are either handicapped, I think, or elderly.
Yeah, they also do the ramp and grab bars installations. So this is really a really fantastic program for our community and all of Morrison County.
It really is.
So
I totally
I
agree.
would definitely make the motion to continue that $1,000 donation to Faith in Action.
Jackie makes the.
I'll second it.
Donnie seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So the request is granted for Faith in Action donation request of $1,000. So the next one is a Freedom Fest donation request. So I believe, Bob, we've done this before, right? Bob?
Last year, we bumped it to 1,000. I think it was 500 before that. I'm just peeling, going back to my worksheet.
And
So
they,
I definitely would just say to continue to do that $1,000. We had even a budget last year left over. So to continue that level 6 sponsor for that $1,000.
yeah, I think well, Bob and I were thinking too that it's actually a nice deal because we can promote the golf course and if people are coming up here to go to the Freedom Fest, it's just another thing in their head to see another touch on our golf course. And I think that you said the billboard would have the golf course on it, basically for advertising for the golf
Yeah.
course.
And we're guaranteed full that weekend on the camping. I mean, it's just, it's a good weekend for us.
Grab that microphone. Yours is red, so they might not have heard a word you've been saying. I don't know how long it's
Yeah,
been
they're
red.
blessed, aren't they?
Switch microphones out just because.
Here,
Thank
just
you,
the whole
Jack.
thing.
Yeah.
That might
Turn
be-
it on though.
It is on. Jackie got it.
Okay, good. All right.
That might be a
Now
good
they can
thing.
hear you again.
Oh, no.
Just for the people that are out there going, dang, he never talks.
So then, if somebody wants to make a motion, I think.
I
it's-
made it.
Oh, Jackie made a motion.
Donation of the $1,000.
Awesome.
I'll
Second,
second that.
Donnie seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? A motion carried for the Freedom Fest donation request of $1,000 for a 3x4 banner. It's going to highlight our fabulous golf course. Okay. So then we're going to go department reports, and then we got Zach here he's the park complex superintendent to talk about a couple items.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
It's getting time that we need some new golf carts. We have 18 of them that were purchased back in 2004. And at some point, we need to start working those out, and it'd be nice to be able to buy a smaller amount at a time. And if we wait, we're gonna always gonna have to purchase all 18 of these at one time. And so they're almost 20 years old. They're starting to have issues, nothing major, but it's still a breakdown that you can't foresee. And somebody's out on hole 7 and now they're have a breakdown and gotta call the clubhouse. Doesn't look good for us. So I think it'd be good that we look at getting some new carts. So I'd like to purchase 6 new carts kind of the next 3 years. And then our oldest cart would only be 2012 then. And then just every couple of years, you purchase between that 4 and 6 carts a year. So they're always adding to our fleet and not having anything much older than that 20-year mark is the goal. Instead of having 18 of them now that are getting to that point where all of a sudden they go kaputs. So I did contact EasyGo and Yamaha. Yamaha's not in here, basically because they're about 12 to 15 months out before I could get any brand new carts from them. EasyGo has slots left. As a week ago, they had 70 slots. I talked to Ryan from EasyGo Friday, and he said they're down to 60 slots. So if we wait too much longer, we might not be able to get any carts, and then the next order we could put in could be a year away yet. So it's at the point where if we keep waiting, we might not be able to get the carts when we need them.
So are you thinking that we will slowly, if we buy 6, you're gonna sell off 6?
So that's something we can look at. I feel, without a doubt, we can get $2,500 a cart for the 2004s. It's very possible we get three grand, but I'm pretty confident we'd get $2,500 a cart. So that's something that I was gonna bring up at the park board, because we're gonna bring this whole thing up at the park board next month, but if I wait, we
not
might
get
not
any.
be able to buy any carts. And then now we're gonna be stuck with those 18, and I don't wanna.
Yep.
So that's why I'm bringing it up here, and then we can discuss this with the park board, go over what we think would be best. I'm leaning towards being we can get rid of these now. The demand is so high for used carts because there's not new ones being made. And if we can sell them for a high price, sell them. And then in a couple of years, when we open up the new 9, then we look at possibly leasing, renting to get us through. Could keep maybe the last 6 just to help us on that new 9 as a backup or whatever. But that's something I'd like to discuss with the park board and see how everybody feels on that.
Would we then just kind of sell those on that .gov site or whatever then?
That'd be my thought. I mean, that Gov Deals has been very good for us. So, and it allows the local people to bid as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
Members
that,
are always.
that was my question, is gonna be how are we gonna sell them?
We sold 5 2 years ago, 2021, and we sold those no problem. So, and we probably should have asked more for those looking back. So that's why I feel confident we can get 2,500, 3,000
6.
for the 6 old ones. So yeah, now you're only spending 20-ish grand on new carts instead of 38. And it's the maintenance. There's less maintenance if we get newer carts.
And I heard, I can't remember if I was talking to you about, I mean, obviously on the rental, it's a pretty good income that we draw off of that,
Yeah, Zach and I just looked it up. The last 2 years, it's roughly 55,000
Yeah.
that we gross on the rentals, so.
Mm-hmm.
And the cost of ownership over that 20 years, it averages 200 to 300 a year. So I mean, it's a good business to be in on the carts.
It sounds like it. And I know Zach, from nothing but compliments on you. They said if it wasn't for you, a lot of those things would be in a lot rougher shape. So
Thank
I heard
you.
you do a really good job at all the maintenance and stuff, that's the type of people that we need in this town.
And then that's where I'm at. Not that I couldn't fix these. I could fix these for a lot longer if we needed to, but then it takes me away from other things. And at some point, I can't be wasting all my time fixing.
We don't want them all to go all in
And you
one.
don't want them all to go at once, and it looks bad too. I mean, the newer cart has a less chance of something happening to it. The older they get, there's more likely, and you can't stop all that from happening unless you fix all the new parts that will go bad. But
Yep.
now you're spending all that money on stuff that might not go bad. So
You're right.
I think we definitely need to make the motion to get the 6 carts listed and purchase the 6 new.
Jackie makes a motion to purchase 6 new carts and sell the old ones, and so we got that.
We're gonna maybe pause on the selling and just talk to the park
Oh.
board about
But
that.
if they want to,
Oh,
then
okay.
it's just
Yeah.
approved going forward, so you don't have to bring it back to us, whatever the
that
park board
that
decides.
that sounds good.
Yeah, if you want to keep them, yeah.
Yeah, I want to discuss it with the rest of the park board and see what we all think. I mean, maybe they'll think of something that I'm missing. What do we think's the best way to do?
But
But
there's
yeah,
no need to bring it back to us, I don't think, in that standpoint. You take it back to the park board, and what you guys decide to do with those 6 carts is fine with us.
sounds good.
And Bob, we've got that in our budget, in our line item, 4 carts.
We do, we have dedicated funds for it.
Yep.
Second.
I'll make the second.
Donnie's making a second. All in favor of 6 new golf carts with the possibility of selling 6 old ones if need be. All in favor, say aye.
All right?
Aye, opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, I'll contact EZO tomorrow and get that process started. Second, with Phil possibly cutting his hours back, Nick Shaw not coming back probably, and then the new 9 being built, I'm gonna need more help if we want to start working on that new 9. I can maintain the current 9 the way it is, with what I have, but to do much extra on the new 9 is very difficult for me with the amount of help that I have. So Bob put some numbers together, possibly hiring another full-time person that would work with me and Jim during the summer, give Eric a hand once a week here and there if he needs it. And then obviously be able to help out with snow too with the new loader, help out on that. Just we're doing more and we need more people to help do those things. It's getting difficult for me to try and manage it all.
You know, I guess my opinion is, and I talked to Bob about this too. I get it. I understand the workload you're under, and it's like, okay, now you're just doubling it, right? I'd like, if it was possible, I mean, my opinion is try to get as close as we can to where the 9 holes is opening up, so we have some type of a revenue stream or a better revenue stream. I think we've been pretty good so far, but I don't want to put you out either, obviously.
Yeah, and I understand where you're coming from. Where we're at right now with the new 9 is we didn't do a lot last year because he's still doing a lot of doze ring stuff. This year, there's going to be a lot more drainage that needs to get put in, sodding and stuff like that, that either we got to hire out or we can do it, keep it in house. Some of it, not all of it, but a lot more of it if I have the help. So at this point, we're going to need somebody when we open up a 9. There's no way I can keep doing it with what I have for staff. And if we hired them now, then they can help learn. They're here to help do it versus hiring it out. I feel we're going to spend the money either way.
So how far out are we? Like, I mean, is this something you need somebody like in 2 months or 6 months or like? I suppose.
This year, we're not opening the new 9
Right,
yet.
right.
So I can maintain the current 9 with what I have.
Yeah.
But if I need to keep working on the new 9,
Right.
I'm not going to be able to help much over there
Right.
without more help.
So what would be what would be your time frame, Zach? I mean,
When would you
looking-
like to get somebody hired? on?
yeah.
Basically, when we can start working on the new 9 this spring, when we open up, would
This
be
spring.
ideal.
So we're looking at what, 2-3 months? Within the next
May.
2 to 3 months?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, basically, if, discuss this and time
Yeah.
we move forward with hiring and all that, it's going to be ready for having somebody.
Right. So we don't need to make a motion tonight
No,
on
I'm
this,
just-
do we?
It'd be nice to get
Yeah,
started,
yeah.
quite
If we
honestly.
don't get started on the hiring process and getting it posted, this is gonna allow us, we can have it open until position is filled. And then we can actually get candidates to come into us. As someone who does HR, and hiring, maintenance positions are very difficult to fill because they're a hot commodity. We have a position open right now that we're having, and we're paying over $29 an hour with medical, dental, and vision included at no cost to the employee and a 4% match on our 401k. And it's difficult to get people in
Yeah.
the door to interview. So I think that it would
What do you
both
think?
behoove us to put it out there and see if we don't hire it.
Yeah.
That's one thing, but if we're gonna, so my concern too is like Phil leaving. We also have to see like all the maintenance stuff that happens, and if we don't start taking care of that preventative maintenance stuff as it goes, things aren't gonna get taken care of.
I
So-
did talk to Phil last night, and he felt, I mean, that our conversation was that he felt like he wanted to keep working when he had time. He said
We
he,
had time though.
right, I know, I understand
We
that.
need to have someone that's gonna be there for the shifts and
Yeah.
be able to, not that he's not someone that you can rely on,
Right.
but if we're gonna be getting this completed, we need to also make sure that we're, having someone there.
The-
And that training
the-
process, it
Yeah.
takes 6 months to at least train someone and up to 2 years to recoup that training back into someone.
Yes,
So
with
from a standpoint of that, like, you have to understand that investment, the sooner you can get them in and trained in, the sooner they can get going, and then that investment piece happens.
Right.
So that's why I say, for my standpoint is, I believe that we do need this for our city. We've needed it for probably 3 years, just from a standpoint, with a lot of the turnover that we've had. So I think that, in my opinion, we should at least post for it and then see what candidates we get. We don't have to hire anybody that we don't feel is gonna be a good fit for our city. And it has to go through a hiring committee too.
Right.
That's probably the easiest part.
Right.
What I would be more concerned of is if we hire somebody for Zach and we're using him at the golf course, when it comes time to the winter time, that guy's not gonna have any hours, or girl, whatever we hire, is not gonna have many hours left to help uptown if they're helping him.
So what I'd like to see done is, Bob and I have talked about this, That person basically is gonna work 40 hours a week all year, so that they would be able to help in the wintertime too then. I've also talked to Jim though, and he'd be okay with, right now he's comping 240 roughly, give or take. Cutting him back to 120, and then the new guy could comp 120. It'd be the same as hiring that new guy at 40 hours a week all year, or Jim and him split that comp. And I might even cut myself back a little bit too. So they'd be able to help all year round, is the goal, I think.
Does anybody have any comments sitting out there at all?
Jim at the golf course now?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Jim and me. Jim's my assistant, and where we're at,
Gross.
Jim Gross, yes. When Daniel and I were there, I was able to do a lot of the mechanic work. Jim's not quite as good along that lines as I am. And so when I'm busy doing superintendent stuff, answering phone calls and stuff like that, which I didn't realize how much you get drawn away when you become that person, I can't always maintain all that stuff. And Jim, he does stuff very well, but he doesn't be able to do everything. Like this year, we turned in the rough mower that needed some maintenance. Ended up just sending it down to Toro to have them fix it. In the past, I've been able to fix it, and I could have fixed most of it again this year. I just didn't have the time anymore. And so we're spending probably an extra $5,000 on maintenance that if we
investing in an
had the
employee.
person, we could put it into employee and not send that machine down there. And that's what we're getting at with machinery. It's getting harder for me. And obviously, once we get a new 9, we're going to have double the machinery on some things. Carts are going to pretty much double, greens mower, T mowers, fairway mowers. And that just adds all that maintenance and reel mowers are a little bit more complicated to maintain than your regular rotary lawnmower.
Do you think Kyle should be here for something like this? That we should get his input, you guys, or unless you guys are comfortable with it. I am kind of on the fence, actually.
Well,
I'd like
I
to
don't
hold
think
off
it
a
hurts,
bit longer.
I don't know, I don't think it hurts anything to post it.
Yeah, that's not, that
That's
would
why I
be-
said that. That's why I
Because
said. I don't
we
think it
could
hurts
have
anything to post
the
it.
first 10 people and have none of them that we think are qualified to do anything we want them to do. That doesn't mean we have to hire.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's
that
why
makes
we just
sense.
have the
we
position
leave it-
open
Yep.
until filled, and then when Kyle gets back, if he wants to be a part of the hiring committee, or if he there's
Right.
many different areas that he can be involved with all of that.
Right.
So, and again, I think that this is something that's been coming down for a long time. But I think just with the way the economy is and the way that we've had a lot of baby boomers retire, we're just not getting a lot of applicants on my end either. So the more we can have the people have it posted and see what kind of candidates we can get, I think it's not going to hurt from that perspective. So I would make a motion that we post it as open until filled.
Jackie makes a motion
Date.
to post for maintenance. Would it be a maintenance Zach guy or club
Yeah, it'd
help
be
or
maintenance golf course.
Maintenance
I
golf
guess you
course.
might maybe have better terminology.
I
You know
would-
what I'm
Full-time
talking
city
about.
maintenance person, we'd have to create a job description. We don't have one now.
something? Okay, so Jackie makes a motion for a maintenance person, for posting a position for one to see what kind of
Yep.
applicants that we.
And I would second that.
Okay, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried to post a position for a maintenance person out at the golf course.
Okay. I think that's basically all I have. I can give you a little update where we're at. I'll probably need to start sharpening reels and doing maintenance on the equipment that we do have in a couple weeks here, maybe even start next week. The irrigation guy's gonna come and help me finish putting the pump house together so we can get the bigger pumps put in so they can handle pumping more water to the new 9 once we get that installed, so.
And those are up by the pond on number 1,
Yes, on number 1 there, so,
where we drilled a new,
where we,
right behind to the east, we drilled a new well, and that's where that's gonna be going.
and then we dug that pond out to make it bigger so it can hold more water and all that, so. That's gonna start, next week, get him down there and hopefully finish that up, or, he'll have to come back a couple more times, but, so.
Sounds good.
And then, as the snow melts and open up, when weather permits.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming in, Zach.
Thanks, Zach.
Problem.
Mr. Otrimba, I think you're next on the list?
So in my work doing the fire state aid, so Dan Rushell kind of talked a little bit about the state aid. It's roughly 61,000 the city gets to put back into the retirement for the fire department. So I learned about a police state aid. The city has never done this before. I just looked at the list from the Department of Revenue, and I looked at cities, Motley, Royalton, Rice. They were all right around 15 to 20,000 that those cities got paid for police state aid. I asked Chief Hennigan about that, and he said he'd never heard of it. So I did call down there, and and the gal at Department of Revenue said, yes, you are eligible. It has to do with the PERA retirement. The city having a department pays PERA, and it's quite a bit more than a regular employee. I think it's 17% of gross wages. But I'm going to work through that process to get that state aid to the city. And I'm just, if Royalton
That's
Rice
great.
is 15, 20,000, we should be right there too. So that'll help us out for next year and going forward. The audit, I was telling John today, there were 78 items on the checklist for me to turn in before today, and I'm down to one. So I got one of those items, but Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the 4 auditors work through that, and they shoot me questions, kind of those 3 days, and I work through the audit. So that'll be my rest of the week.
Thank you so much for all your
Yeah.
hard work with that,
Yep.
Bob.
You're
I
welcome.
know
That's
how fun that stuff
No,
is.
audits are not fun.
Okay, so do we do treasurer's report?
Sure, I can update the council on that. So the checkbook balanced at $2,492,219.51. That was January 31st of 23.
Sign.
Claims.
Any questions on the claims at all?
We have to,
Or treasurer's
we
report.
have
Or the
to,
treasurer's report?
Have to approve
we
the
have to
treasurer's.
approve the
Oh.
So
treasurer's.
somebody want?
I'll make the motion.
Donnie's approving the treasurer's report.
I second it.
Jackie's seconding the treasurer's report, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried to accept the treasurer's report. And then claims, is that what we're,
I guess page 57 of the packet too. I just wanted to kind of put this to the council now before we get into the budget. I kind of went through and just looked, this was from August of 22, but it just shows the property tax levy. And then as the finance committee, I guess none of you were on that finance committee, but it just shows the deficits in the general and fire fund. For example, and I know taking on another employee, we're going to be paying more out of the general fund for that, maintenance employee as well. So just kind of prepping the council on trying to tackle that, getting that dollar amount up there for the levy to make sure our costs are covered.
claims, is that next?
Yep.
So do we just get approval?
Oh, sorry, the claims for the month were $380,914.33.
Can I get a motion to approve the claims?
I'll make the motion.
Donnie approves the motion. Jackie seconds it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Approve the claims. Updates?
Nothing from me.
So the bunker gear, that money will come out of that state money that was set aside or federal money? Is it, I mean, at one time, the old council with Lynn, we talked about using, is it ARPA?
It's the ARPA money. We have 57,000 in there right now,
I
so.
think this is gonna be 40 something, 41 maybe, something like that.
Certainly can. That's going to be coming here in 6 months. So it'd be nice eventually to transfer the rest of that into the general fund so that
Can-
fund goes away
well,
this year.
Yeah, can it go just into general though? I
can.
thought we had some kind of a,
It can go for general fund or fire. So, yeah.
okay, I was thinking it had to stay within fire or police. I mean, I thought it had to be used for, when we were talking about the golf course, wasn't that what we were gonna try to use at one point?
It could not be used for the gravel pit
That
Pit
was, yeah, the
purchase.
gravel pit.
So is there a way that we can like Donnie's kind of talking about just dedicate it for that? So, I mean, I just, I just don't want to have it go into the general fund and then it like disappears, when we're trying to earmark it for, don't you think so, Donnie? Kind of got the same
Well,
concerns?
once, since we're a new council,
Yeah.
the-
Oh, sorry about that.
whoever this new person or that is gonna be, we don't know who that is yet.
Mhm.
So, but they should know what's going on just as well as we know, yes. Be nice to earmark it or
Mhm.
put whatever towards it, but
So I would say once we get that invoice, we could transfer that. I mean, I could bring it to the council at that point and
try to put that money over and then the rest goes in general. Yep,
Okay.
nothing else? Then I think it's up to me, huh?
Yes.
Are you tired?
I'm sick.
Or would you like to sit there some more?
I'm
You're sick.
Yeah.
I'm
Are
glad
you
you're
sick and
glad there's a
tired?
seat between us.
Yes.
I will make the
Sick
motion
and
to
tired.
adjourn.
Donnie's making
I
the
will
motion to
second
adjourn. Jackie seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carried. Ooh.